and good morning. You are tuned right here to the root of it on KLYC 1260.
This is your weekly Yamhill County gardening show. I am joined today with Sharon Dietrichson. I can't get the preposition right, whether I'm joined by or joined with or with whom I am joined. Right. Oh, hey, you have to put the microphone down.
Oh, here. Well, we're both here, so I guess
there we
that's
go.
the most important thing.
Right. So Sharon's here, and Kyle is here, and we are going to be talking about some gardening out there. And what a week we had to garden out there, wasn't it, Sharon?
It was gorgeous.
We were talking about all the things that we got done, and I was able to put a list together of it today. And I might, 55, partly cloudy, some of it, but not like yesterday and not like Thursday, right?
No, Thursday and yesterday were just absolutely awesome days. And
No, and you realize that, and I realize that the longer that I live here, each subsequent year, it's like you get these moments, these little pockets of 1 day, 2 days, maybe 3. But then, as we have coming up this week, I have the weather refreshing right now. Rain coming up all this week. So I hope you got everything done that you needed to get done for this brief pocket. Because the gardener, the master gardener in particular, knows when you have these moments. Yeah, you go ahead. You can take those wind-blown things. Maybe even do a little bit preparing for spring. So what did you get done?
too much attention in the front yard. It's kind of stable. But out back, and we were cleaning up the flower beds where debris had blown in.
Exactly right.
And kind of fluffing things up, so as to say. And with the beautiful warm weather, we got out and pressure washed the mold off of the block wall and off of the patio and cleaned up. And then we got out my little portable greenhouse and got that set up. So the next sunny time around, I'll be planting a few things in there for
That's right. You were talking about that in the email, and you had a few things that you were talking about, because you've got this portable greenhouse, which is really funny, because we were on the show when winter was coming. You were like, okay, we put it down, and we
yep.
And then I think it was back in December. It's like, well, maybe we could take it. No, not gonna get it. But now you took it out. You took it out, and now it's all set up.
It is, and we've got a southwest exposure in our backyard, and so it's a perfect spot right against the house. It's a perfect heat sink, and so I can, with that advantage, I can be seeding things in that little greenhouse a lot earlier than a lot of folks could. And I start getting excited, then I have to kind of reel myself in a little bit. But
well, it is amazing, and there are things that, like seedlings, it's almost time to start the seedlings. It's definitely time to look at the catalogs. And with this rain that we have coming up, I mentioned the rain because really we're still going to be in the 50s. Even next week it's predicted that we'll be in the high 50s, but even with the rains, it's something to start thinking about, start planning for, are these seedlings that you've got the greenhouse set up for.
Absolutely. And
everybody's dryer and washers cleared.
Oh, yeah.
So that we can put the trays up there.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I've done is we have a big travel trailer. And so some of the plants that I want to try to winter over, I can put them on the ground underneath of the travel trailer. They don't get the frost and icy stuff on them. So I can bring those out now and put them in the greenhouse and let them start getting going. So
you've got me thinking about needing one of those portable greenhouses. But what I really want, and I picture this and I've planned for it, is an actual big greenhouse. Not big like Daryl Big, if you know
right.
Daryl Big.
Right.
Not like that big, because he has a really big greenhouse that's 50 feet tall or something like that. I just want something that's 15 by 15 by maybe 15.
My daughter-in-law has one. They have, what is it, a little over an acre of property, not as big as yours, but they have over an acre out in Aurora, and she has one. I think hers is like 8 by 15 or 16, something like that.
Good to me. That
and it's
sound
a
good.
perfect size for them. She can produce so many plants, she doesn't virtually have to buy any of them at all. And I kind of do quite a bit in mine. I furnish the neighborhood with tomato plants like I
Yeah.
told you before.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, but for me, that's
yeah.
my winter fantasy that
It is good.
I'm
It's
drawing and I'm looking forward to doing. But you were even talking about planting some things, putting in the cold frame.
Uh-huh. Do you
Yeah.
have a cold frame at your house?
I'm about an hour's work away from having one, because that's essentially how long it takes to
Yeah.
make one and
Yeah,
put one up. But
really.
yeah, you're right. But you were talking about putting in spinach, lettuce.
Spinach, lettuce, green things, and also what I did with mine is at one end of my cold frame I put in the 4x4 posts with some heavy cattle wire that's on it for
Mhm.
things to climb on. So it's actually on two sides, and so I'll put in some peas and some green beans in there, and with the plastic.
Did you know it's
cover-
February though, right?
Yeah, but I can put those in. I did this last year.
Yeah.
And when other people were just starting to plant them, because I have a plastic cover over my, it's a heavy 2-layer plastic cover,
Okay.
regular greenhouse material that I was able to buy, and that keeps everything good. I can take when it's warm a day, I can take it off when it's, and then in the evening just go over, lay it on the top of it, put a brick to keep it from floating away. And I had green beans and peas that were 5-6 feet tall, and other people were just putting them in the ground.
Right. So okay. So you have them. So essentially in June, then you take them out of the cloche. You just
They just
open
go
them?
up, yeah. I just take the lid off and let them go.
So you're
We
not going to have
were-
any beans though in June.
Oh, well, yeah, actually I will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I will. In fact, Ray last year was going, he says, I'm going to stop by your house with a bag on my way home. But no, we were in seeding early in February because, of course, lettuce and radish and spinach grow very quickly. We were picking salad greens and stuff out of our yard by the end of February.
So I think this is really important because if you're and this is what you did. You get the cold frame, and we're planting. We're not just putting putting seeds in the pots and putting that
Right.
on the kitchen counter. You're in the ground.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep.
You got wires
Mhm.
waiting for these things to grow.
Absolutely.
And anybody should be doing this right now. Probably.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Even our big greenhouse out at the fairgrounds, the Master Gardener greenhouse, Patty and Linda and Gail and everybody are at full tilt right now, moving the perennials that they've been propagating all winter out of the greenhouse because they'll be going full bore within the next week or two, filling that thing up with plants.
January was kind of an off. I mean, I don't mean off. I mean, it was like, okay, the greenhouse is going to stay by itself because everybody else is just going to take some time off. And now February's here, and all of these little seedlings are up and popping and growing.
Right. The propagation group has done a marvelous job. There's so many plants out there in the perennial category, but now they're going to be able to survive outside because they are a perennial. So then that opens up the greenhouse because we start getting some more of those sunny days like we had the couple. We have to start them at first in, basically it's a table that's got like a layer of sand with a heat mechanism underneath of them, and you put the trays there underneath of the grow lights, and within a couple of weeks you've got seedlings all over the place, and then by that time the weather warms up, they get moved in from the starting trays, which I do at my house on a very small scale, and go into bigger pots. And it's amazing to me. It's like everything just morphs, and it's just grow. And by the end of April, when we have our plant sale, there are thousands of plants, as you well know.
And I think that's the important thing about this past week that we've had is it is kind of the wake up. It is well, sure, we've had about a month of off on cold weather, but this is warm, and warm is going to be coming here, and inside the greenhouses where you could be planting these things.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
get a temperatures in there. In fact, my husband was out yesterday, and because I have a little thermometer that's in there, it says that the greenhouse has been up for 2 days. And he goes out there, he says, I got to go see how warm it is in there. And that was 86 in my greenhouse.
Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a text before the show from Ray, who's down in California, and he said that it's going to be 75 degrees. He's going to go have brunch right now, and it's 68 or something like that. It's really great. It's surreal. But those temperatures, they'll come here soon enough.
Absolutely.
But the greenhouse, That is funny. 86 degrees. I
Yeah.
want to have a greenhouse just for that.
It is. It is. It's so amazing to be able to be outside and to be able to be in there in those temperatures working, and yet it's 20, 30 degrees cooler outside
Yeah.
of the greenhouse. And it's one of the reasons they have to have things that open and fans in the big greenhouses, which I do with mine also, my little one, because it can reach 120 degrees with no problem at all inside of a greenhouse.
Oh, yeah.
It just
Yeah. It
does.
gets really, really hot in there.
Yep.
So talking about the Master Gardeners, and down at the Fairgrounds greenhouse, we've got the volunteers getting into their work because of the plant sale, which is coming up
Yes.
at the end of April. We were talking about last week plant shows and what to expect from them and what to look at, and we were talking about finding new varieties of plants. But in particular, our plant show, it's not a plant show, our plant sale that's coming up at the end of April, that money goes towards scholarships. That money goes towards...
It goes towards education for the public,
Mhm.
okay, because we put on various and sundry workshops and classes on different subject matter that people can come to. Some of them are free, some of them have a small cost to them, and so on like that, basically to just cover what it costs to put it on as far as printing and so on and so forth. But the scholarships, to me, is one of the really big things that a lot of people don't realize Master Gardeners do. Some people think Master Gardeners just run around and plant plants over by the police station or on the corner in Mac or something.
Right.
But we're more about education. And one of the things that I didn't realize when I first started the organization is that they do provide scholarships for students. When you've got high school students that have an outstanding record of good grades, of citizenship, of being proactive in their school and so on, and they're going on into a horticulture-based education on a college level, they're eligible for scholarships. Master Gardeners, I found, had been in the last few years provided over $58,000 in scholarships for high school students.
Yeah, and I've met a few of the recipients.
Oh,
They come and
yes.
they talk to us.
Yes.
Very intelligent
Wonderful.
kids. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Wonderful.
So that's just one of the things that our plant sale goes towards.
Yes,
but
it does.
It is definitely time to be thinking about plant structures and plant placements and these kinds of things, which can also be done in the incoming rains.
It can, in the OSU office, if you're not sure what exposure your plant needs, what kind of atmosphere it likes to grow in, what kind of fertilizer it likes, or what kind of pH level it likes, you can come in over there and get your soil tested.
You're talking about the extension office in
Yeah.
McMinnville, yeah.
Right in McMinnville, just right up there on Lafayette. And the other thing they can do, of course, is to go on to the OSU.edu education website on the computer, and there is tons of information on there.
Oh,
Or-
I love going extension.oregonstate.edu
Yeah.
/Yamhill. All the links that you need. That's the Yamhill Extension office here, but it has all of the links to all of the
Oh, yeah.
OSU extensions and the catalogs, which is where we get a lot of most of the information that we get from the show is from that website, and that's because we are master gardeners of the extension service with
right.
OSU, and our job, volunteer as it is to disseminate that information, the educational information. So
It is, and it is definitely as our friend Eileen has said before, it's from the heart, because we don't get paid for what we do. Volunteer means exactly that. It's volunteer, and we have been working away for hours in the greenhouse or something another, or at the OSU office and in the library, and taking calls from people and stuff, and we're going, it's really cool to do this, and you forget you're not getting paid to do it, but your payment is something that is internal in you.
yeah.
And they do it because they love plants, because they want to help educate other people. And so when you get in your senior years, which you're not there yet,
Really?
it's great to be able
Thank
to
you.
give back.
Yeah. Well, why don't we talk about slugs when we come back?
Okay.
I know,
That's a
and
slippery subject, isn't it?
It really is. That's humorous. But let's take a break. We have news to deliver to the people out there. Right now it's 9:15, and you're listening to The Root of It right here on KOIC 1260 AM.
School principal was the person who influenced him the most. People tracked down the school's modest fundraiser aimed at sending kids from Mott Hall Bridges Academy on a trip to Harvard. Strangers have donated a total of $1.1 million to the school. Steve Kastenbaum, New York.
Jamaica's Senate has started debating a bill that would decriminalize possession of small amounts of marijuana on the Caribbean island. I'm John Trout.
As a retired teacher, I look for ways to save money for the things I love, like traveling the world. Medicare plans change each year. Fortunately, my HealthMart pharmacist helped me understand my insurance, saving me money on prescriptions. And they can help you, too. My pharmacist cares about my health and the things I love, whatever that might be.
HealthMart, caring for you and about you. Visit healthmart.com for the locally owned pharmacy near you.
Geico presents Fan Mail to a Pig.
Dear Maxwell, first off, hope you are well. And I am. Seems like all you do is promote Geico's web and app abilities. And while I really enjoyed your last commercial where you talked about how I could take a photo of my VIN number and add it to my account all via my Geico app, I've got to think it doesn't leave you much time for anything else. Do tell. Sincerely, Miranda Morgan. Well, Miranda, thank you for asking. And this Geico spokespig does have time to do other things. For instance, I do a lot of
VIN scanning to add a car, just a tap away on the Geico app.
To the Root of It on AM 1260 KLYC is brought to you by Recology's Northwest Greenland in McMinnville. You know, it takes more than a pile of decomposing yard debris and leaves to make your soil healthy and your plants happy. That's why Recology actively manages their compost to ensure the highest level of microbial activity. The rich soil amendments promote healthy plant life in your vineyard, your nursery, your yard, and your garden. Recology's compost, which is certified for organic growing, can enhance overall soil quality, provide plants with nutrients they need to grow larger and healthier, minimize the need for chemical fertilizers and pesticides, increase your soil's ability to hold moisture and retain nutrients, feed helpful earthworms, create a buffer for your plants against common toxins in the soil, and control pH levels and support essential bacterial growth. It's more than just compost. It's food for your soil. Northwest Greenland's a Recology company. In McMinnville at 2200 Northeast Orchard Avenue. Call Recology Northwest Greenlands at 503-434-1671. 503-434-1671. Recology Northwest Greenland's a proud sponsor of To the Root of It on KLYC. It's another new year and time for great starts and powerful savings at Davison Auto Parts. Get a $10 prepaid Visa card on the purchase of a qualifying Napa brand battery. Keep the terminals clean with the MAC Battery Terminal Cleaner or Battery Terminal Protector, just $3.49 a can. Castrol GTX conventional motor oil, just $3.79. And Napa full synthetic motor oil that was $5.99 a quart, now just $3.79 a quart. And before you head for the hills, stock up on Napa Extended Life 50/50 Antifreeze and Cool It. Napa Know-How at Davison Auto Parts in Staten, Woodburn, Sheridan, McMinnville, Carlton, Tillamook, Monmouth, and Reedsport.
Are you a senior citizen who would like additional assistance on your home front? Maids is an extension of Rock of Ages Mennonite Home, and Maids assist Yamhill and Polk County senior citizens with their in-home care needs and chores. Whether living on site at Valley View Retirement Village or in an apartment or home in Yamhill and Polk counties, Maids works with each of its senior citizens' clients to develop tailored services to meet the client's individual needs. The staff at Rock of Ages genuinely cares and provides professional services garnished with that special touch of love and caring family. For more information on Maids, visit Rock of Ages website at Rock of Ages Valley View or give them a call at 503-472-6212.
And we are back. You are tuned right here to The Root of It here on KLYC 1260 AM, also streaming Facebook.com. If you've missed any of the show or want to catch it on the rerun, go ahead and go to YouTube.com and search KOYC to The Root of It. And if you need any other multimedia links, go to koyc.us. All of the links are there. We've been talking about the weather. With weather, this rain comes slugs, right, Sharon?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've been observing
Cleaning up the
yard and stuff. Of course, you're out there and you're getting bent over and leaning and you're going, oh my goodness, they're here. But it's time now to start, because they're making babies all over the place. It's time to get them.
It's really funny. Before Ray went on hiatus there, he said, okay, now you're going to want to start looking out for the slugs. He even said that the banana slug, that big, huge snake of a slug,
yes,
is not a bad slug because all it eats is the dead stuff.
Right.
So it's actually beneficial because it's eating the dead leaves and all of that. But the ones that we're seeing, the ones that you're seeing, are these gray, little, tiny...
Gray-brown ones. Yeah, absolutely. And... It is time to get rid of them now, or at least get them, you won't get rid of them, but get them under control as much as you can. If you wait until you're putting all your plants in the ground, you're going to be sorry.
If you see them, you kill them now, right? Right, yeah. Because these ones are going to make the babies, and then they're going to make the babies, and then it's just going to be inundation. And I'm telling you what, compared to last year, for some reason... it looks like a bumper crop of slugs because I am noticing them everywhere, and I've taken care of my area, but it does seem like there's a lot more this year than there were last, just from me noticing.
Weather patterns,
yeah.
more warm days.
Yeah, I think so.
And so the soil has stayed warmer than normally it should during the wintertime. We are going to have some more cold, but it's not going to cool the soil off to the level that it did before. So, as you said, we're bumper crop of slugs. And it's time to think about what you're going to do about them.
Yeah.
We have a small dog and several neighborhood cats that like to visit our yard. So we're very conscious about animals. We don't have little children running around that are going to pick things up and eat them, thank goodness. But
right.
But we do have the animals, so you have to be pretty cautious about how you use these things.
What you're going to treat them with, right?
Yeah,
because there's always the salt method.
Right.
There's the copper. You can lay copper around the plants because they can't touch that copper. They get, essentially, if you lick a 9-volt battery, that's the feeling that they're getting. They're like, I don't like that. So, and then there are slug baits.
Yes,
that you
there
can
are.
use.
And some of the slug baits can be very dangerous to use. You need to read the label.
Always read the label.
Read the labels on anything you're purchasing that you're putting in your garden like that, because what you put in your garden is going to go into what you're growing. So if it's around veggies, you need to be watching that. If it's something that's dangerous to animals and children, you watch that. And it's best just to avoid them altogether. One of the tricky little things that it drives my husband crazy is if I grab a bottle of beer out of the refrigerator and put them in a tuna can in the garden. My beer, but I've got to kill the slugs.
Alcohol abuse, absolutely. No, it's a really good point, and that's the number one pest control method is the beer trap.
Yes,
and it's exactly what you say. You take a tuna can, bury it kind of into the ground, and you go ahead and you put the beer in the tuna can, and the slugs are attracted by the yeast, and they go ahead and they crawl in there and they die.
Yep. If you're going to get the babies, you can take even just like one of these water bottles.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and they can get into that hole.
They love getting in that hole.
So if you lay that puppy on kind of at an angle on its side in the ground or whatever, with some beer in it that's down here, they're going to go in after it. They ain't coming back out. And then you can take the whole thing and throw it in the trash.
That actually, to me, makes a lot more sense than the tuna can. Even though I've been a proponent of the tuna can, but yeah, because slugs, that it's like a cave for them. They are more likely to go into something, because I leave bottles on the ground and they actually go ahead and, heck, why not half drink a bottle of beer and then go ahead and just lay that on the ground?
They love it. They absolutely love it. Sure.
And it's really true. It really is. They're attracted to the yeast. Something else that you can do is if you don't enjoy the alcohol, crushed eggshells and coffee grounds. They don't appreciate the texture.
Right.
They as slimy and as mucousy as they are, the eggshells are just too violent for them.
Yeah, it's like crawling through glass.
Right.
You know. But and one of the good things that you can do in that vein also that I'm very fortunate in having is we have like those concrete blocks that are hollow in the middle with a decorative edge on it that goes around our flower beds and so on like that. And then they have a 2-inch concrete cap on top of them. So you've got these beautiful hollow spots. And I noticed in tending to my yard that if I lift off those caps, there's a whole bunch of little slugs under almost every one.
It's moist and cracky. In
lift
there,
them
right?
up, put some stuff down in there, put the lid back on, and
just
whatever I want to put in there. And it's not unsightly. You're not looking at it. It's out there. So
you don't have to listen to them scream because you put the cap back on. Not that they scream or anything, but that really is the key. Is to get rid of them right. Like this week is really good. If you can go out there and track them down as best you can, you are going to deal with a lot less problems in the next session. That's going to probably be happening after these rains. After these, I'm expecting even more coming out after these.
Yeah, one of the things I'd suggest that most people not do is what my sons did with my granddaughter and taught her what salt would do to slugs.
Right.
And I had brown spots in my yard for a year.
It's almost like Montezuma's or the slug's revenge or something. Yeah, because for some reason their skin they don't like that.
No, they don't. Yeah, but like you were saying, there are many products available at the garden centers and the home centers and so on and so forth like that. But please be very cautious about what you get and think about the natural things. Like the copper.
You want to hear about the foot of the slug? Because I'm looking at this and a slug moves by rhythmic waves of muscular contraction on the underside of its foot. Rhythmic waves. I walk in rhythmic waves. I've got a nice strut to me too.
There you go.
And but it simultaneously secretes the layer of mucus that it travels on, and that helps prevent the damage to the foot tissue. Wouldn't that be nice to just walk around on
have your own lubrication system like that?
just sliding around. Yeah, my daughter was talking about getting the shoes with the wheels on it. Oh, I need that, and I guess that's kind of similar to that.
Yep.
So I bring this up because that's what I'm seeing right now are trails of mucus, and there's a beginning and an end, but not necessarily a slug at either. of those points.
Yeah. But if you follow them, I'll bet you if you've had a plant in your yard that has leaves on it and stuff, you follow that little silvery-looking trail, and you're going to find out what they were after.
Right.
If you value it, start taking care of it.
Because they're not bob and weavers. They're pretty much go straight in a line because of the way that they work there. Yeah. But what else are you noticing out in the yard there? Other than the slugs, those pests that we're having to take care of.
I haven't really been seeing too much as far as the pest concerned. I know that the ground's been very wet, and I'm seeing lots of worms come out, and I take them off the patio and chuck them back out in the yard because I want them in the ground.
People on the radio can't see your body motion, but it's as though you were like trying to plug a dam with your fingers. So you're like, I poke them back in there. Try to keep them back in there.
Have you been getting more critters in your yard?
You know what? Speaking of critters, I saw a coyote the other weekend, which was something out of character, and it was really something that we had to go and chase away because it was just hanging around. And I'm like, I don't have any more chickens. You guys killed all my chickens, so there's really no reason for you. And he's like, no. I'm waiting for the deer.
Do you have kitties and small pets?
Kind of.
If you have any small pets and they're outdoor pets, then you definitely want to chase those little puppies away.
Yeah. The good thing, and I don't recommend this, but my little West Highland Terrier is a good barker, and he actually can chase the coyote away. Because coyote, for the most part, they're scared of humans and of noise, so they'll go ahead. So they'll go ahead and run away. So, but I think if my dog were a Chihuahua, the coyote would be like, I don't need the chickens anymore. I got a Chihuahua.
There you go. Yeah. And it's the worst thing is if you see them coming in multiples because they pack type of attitude with them, all of a sudden they're a lot more brave.
Oh, yeah.
And so be cautious of that. Yes. I don't know how you would get rid of them other than chasing them off in a very rural area.
Bang.
But we don't do that in the city. But it's really interesting because I have actually seen a couple of them within blocks of our house where people have an acre or two of it. And there's the availability. They come out of the hills and they just wander right on in. So
I just saw, now that we're on the coyote subject, I just saw a news story in Chicago. They wander the streets of Chicago, and there are hundreds of them. They're just like walking around, and they've actually changed from being daytime to being nighttime. But they showed a den, and it was just this patch right in front of the basketball center, just right by the bushes.
Oh my goodness!
Just right in plain sight, and she had pups and all of these things. But in downtown Chicago, they've got a coyote problem. So my little one that's wandering around eating my chickens, that's a big problem for me. But for them, they seem to be. Well, I guess we've got a coyote problem now. We've got pigeons, and we've got these big creatures. But as far as other vermin and other things that are attacking the garden, it's just me with a pickaxe, and I'm making big holes. It was a good week for improvement.
Good. Nice time to spend the time out while you can.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, because I will not be out this week, I don't think. Why don't we take another break?
Okay.
It is 9:33. When we come back, we've got a calendar of things that we can talk about being of February. Right now, though, you're listening to The Root of It right here on KLYC 1260 AM.
In McMinnville. You know, it takes more than a pile of decomposing yard debris and leaves to make your soil healthy and your plants happy. That's why Recology actively manages their compost to ensure the highest level of microbial activity. The rich soil amendments promote healthy plant life in your vineyard, your nursery, your yard, and your garden. Recology's compost, which is certified for organic growing, can enhance overall soil quality, provide plants with nutrients they need to grow larger and healthier, minimize the need for chemical fertilizers and pesticides, increase your soil's ability to hold moisture and retain nutrients, feed helpful earthworms, create a buffer for your plants against common toxins in the soil, and control pH levels and support essential bacterial growth. It's more than just compost. It's food for your soil. Northwest Greenland's a Recology company. In McMinnville at 2200 Northeast Orchard Avenue. Call Recology Northwest Greenland's at 503-434-1671. 503-434-1671. Recology Northwest Greenland's a proud sponsor of To the Root of It on KLYC. My, how time flies. Tax filing deadline is not that far away. Contact Patricia Hofer of Out West Tax Service to get ready. Patricia has more than 20 years of experience to ensure that you get the best advice. Stop by for a good old-fashioned sit-down conversation about your tax needs with Patricia and also your concerns. Conveniently located in Yamhill at 150 North Maple Street. That's at the intersection of Highway 47 and Highway 240. Call 503-662-4010. 503-662-4010. Targeted tax savings for you at Out West Tax Service. Patricia Hofer, LTC number 28438 in Yamhill. Did you know that a burglary occurs in this country once every 42 seconds and that a home without a security system is up to 3 times more likely to be burglarized? D&D Electrical McMinnville wants to be your security contractor. D&D Electrical is a licensed low-voltage contractor and offers everything from intrusion to fire to digital surveillance and 24-hour central station monitoring. 503-472-4003. Ready to go to work for you right now. D&D Electrical McMinnville.
The American Legion is the nation's largest and most respected veterans organization. We take the lead in supporting veterans and their families throughout Oregon every day. American Legion youth programs build character. Oratorical contests, Boys and Girls State, and Legion Baseball teach our children lasting values about teamwork and their responsibilities as citizens. The Oregon American Legion, veterans serving in communities statewide. Find out more at orlegion.org.
And we are back. You're tuned right here to The Root of It, KLYC 1260 AM, talking about gardening, things that we've gotten done, and things that we get to do. Slugs. Let's put the slugs in the past. Okay.
Okay.
February calendar. This is something that can be gotten. Just go to the web, extension.oregonstate.edu/Yamhill. You go to the monthly calendar, and this is a calendar that OSU puts together, the extension puts together, and it's what we do every month, because here in Oregon, because pretty much you can set your garden by the season. And so right now in February, as we were talking about slugs, take care of those as soon as you can. Tune up the lawnmower. I was mentioning that, wasn't I?
Yeah, and we just went through that one at our house, too, because I mentioned before that we were doing the pressure washing and stuff. And my husband and I were out there working away on and he had a heck of a time getting the pressure washer started in the first place. And then at one point it just kind of went pow and quit running, and then he had to work at it and get it started again. And all of a sudden he realized that the filter, the rubber foam filter thing for the air intake disintegrated.
That happens.
And so then he's seeing all the gunk in it, and he's going, oh my gosh, I need to clean this thing up and fix it. When's the last time I serviced this thing? So you're going to need your mowers and your edgers and your pressure washers or whatever else you're using around your garden, your rototiller or something. And it's time now to think about checking the spark plug and checking the filters and get rid of the old gas and put good gas in it. That's one of the biggest bugaboos for small engines. They like to be run on high-test gas without the ethanol and at high speed. That's what they're designed to do. And folks have a lot of problems with their machines because they don't maintain them, because they don't use the right fuel. And We can't keep everything inside in the garage. That's for the cars and my hobby space. But
Right. Well, no, the expensive
but
things, right?
At least have them stored with a tarp over them or something,
Hopefully.
and start maintaining them, getting them up to speed now, or you're going to be upset later when you try and use them and you really need them and they're not ready.
Right, because and because we get these pockets of time
Yes.
sometimes,
Yes.
and end of May, middle of May, we're going to be itching to get into the ground. But even earlier than that, as I was mentioning, the lawn, it's looking kind of scruffy. It's looking like it might need a little bit of love, but the frost is still there, and we don't want to really deal with that. Stepping on it and all of that, and the problem is also when you cut that grass and it's got that fresh trim on the top of it, you get a frost coming in, it damages it even more.
Right.
But I'm gonna do it. I gotta get it done because I like looking out my window with my cup of coffee and seeing that clean grass and not just like the scruffy crabgrass that's sticking up right there, the ryegrass tuffles.
Yeah, it's one of the things that drives Pete nuts is he needs to keep that edged and keep that grass down, and even when it starts getting scruffy, it irritates him. So he generally waits until we've got a couple of warm days, and he just runs right out and gets it done. So
Yep. And for me, this is the last day for that.
Yeah, for about a week at least.
Right, but what else can we do? We've got soil testing. We can actually do some of that down at the extension office.
Yes, we can.
Down at the extension office, you bring in a little tablespoon of soil in a Ziploc bag, and we can go ahead and tell you the pH level.
Right.
There are also testing kits that you can get at various garden stores. And
the pH level can be really important depending on what you have going on in your garden, too. If you're traveling around our area, of course, we have a huge fields of blueberries and so on. And right now, you'll see a mountain of sawdust sitting around these things. And then they're going out and they're putting these molehills of sawdust around the bottom of the blueberry bushes. Well, I have a little wood shop, so I keep a bucket, save some of my sawdust, take it out, and I put it on. I've got one blueberry bush that gives me 8 to 9 pounds of blueberries every year.
I thought that you were donating your bucket of wood to the blueberry blueberry industry.
No, I don't make that much sawdust. that takes a sawmill to do that.
Yeah, those things are amazing because and I'm glad that you mentioned blueberries because I'm looking at the fields of blueberries and they're getting a little color to them. They got a little bit of orange that's coming on, and they are laying down those. But those piles of sawdust can get to be 3 stories high, and then they've got these things that climb all the bulldozers that go all the way up and then come all the way down.
You know why the sawdust goes there?
Oh, to keep the pH level as good as it can, because you're looking for about a 4.8 kind of level.
Exactly, because in a small garden area like I have, you only have room to do so much. Out there, they can cover fields with them, and so on like that. But in a small yard like mine, I need that one area of ground around my blueberry bush to have a lower pH level. But my rose bush that's 6 feet away from it needs to be higher. So being able to just treat that one area to just keep that pocket of pH level low there, that's what I do. And they should have already been pruned.
Yeah.
I took my rose bushes down to about 18 inches high about 2 weeks ago. And so I'm protecting the tops of them from these last freezes so that they'll be healthier and have more strength. And probably in about 5 or 6 weeks from now, they'll probably be 5 feet tall.
Yeah, the blueberry, that was the first casualty of my garden when I first became a master gardener. One of the things that I planted before becoming master gardener and not understanding soil pH, the thing never took off. Like I've got all these other plants around it. They're doing great. They're like awesome. But this thing was scraggly. Never produced one blueberry in 3 years. And it was really the first time that I could actually remove a plant without pity. It was like, you're not doing anything. And it's because the pH level was really great for the other plants, being at 7, and everything else was the blueberry wants that 4.3, 4.8, 5.3 at the most, but not getting it, and so it died. But we've moved on past them. But those the blueberries they look like they're coming up in the fields that I'm seeing.
They are, and I never really. enjoyed blueberries until I started having the one in my
Really?
yard. And it's so different. But I also learned through master gardeners how to prune my blueberries.
Oh,
They like
very
to,
important.
yes, because you get rid of the old canes, and all of the ones that are bigger than, let's just say, a good-sized pencil. Those canes need to go away because they always grow on second-year growth. And so proper pruning on those, and again, OSU,
Right.
Master Gardeners, Extension Office,
right,
you
Extension.
have resources.
Actually, I don't. There's got to be the yearly blueberry class that the pruning class that they have.
Yes.
But that is a really fun thing. Fun fact about blueberries: one of the few blue things that we as humans eat. So, actually, if you paint your dining room blue, you will eat less. It's
I've
a
never
weird,
heard that.
It's a weird study because for us we don't associate blue with food, so subconsciously it doesn't give us any hunger, any appetite. Like whereas red, you go ahead and you see red and it's like, oh, let me buy things, let me go ahead and eat things and do all these things. But blue, it doesn't do anything for us. It's weird. And I had inadvertently, if you look at the studio around us, it's this dark blue with this white trim. It's my house, my dining room. I had inadvertently, before I learned this, painted, and my dining room is this exact navy blue color with the white trim, and we hardly eat in it. We hardly eat in it at all. And I didn't, and when I learned this fact, I'm like, oh, well, maybe we should paint the dining room. We'll enjoy it more. That's work. But
gee, maybe if red is the color that makes me eat more, I should stop wearing so much red.
But there are these little subtle cues that we aren't fully aware of. But
little triggers.
Right. That once we are aware of it, like I can't even bring myself to eat a full meal in there now. Like now that I even know this fact, I'm like, well, now I don't even need to eat in the dining room because I wouldn't enjoy it anyway because for some reason.
We do a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables and stuff at our house and try and eat as healthy as we can. And by gardening, it really helps that a lot.
Yes.
I actually froze snow peas last year.
And I still have frozen black currants.
Yeah, I throw them into the soups and stews, and one of my favorite things to do is take a lot of fresh vegetables and steam them a bit in a pot, starting with the ones that need the longest time, and then layering up with the more delicate ones. And good eating. Just a sprinkle of cheese, and you're there. Don't do the sauce.
So when you were freezing these peas, how did you freeze them? How did you put them in a Ziploc bag, or did you actually vacuum seal them?
No, what I actually did with mine, some things I vacuum seal, some things I don't. But with my snow peas, what I did with them, I picked them. I made sure that they were clean, but I did not really wash them a whole lot. I pick things off my garden and hang it on a bush and munch them right out of the garden, of course. But these, what I did was I put them in like a single layer on big cookie tray type things, put them in the freezer until they were frozen solid, and then put them into bags and double bag them and so on. I have the seal-a-meal type of thing that the vacuum sealers also, but with those I didn't do it because I don't want them crushed.
But what you did was really good because you didn't rinse them. That means that they're not soaking up any extra moisture. And then when you freeze them individually on the cookie tray, instead of putting them all in a bag and freezing them that way, they're not clumped together. They're actually already separately.
Yep. I do that with my blueberries. They get cleaned. All the superfluous stuff goes away. They're frozen on a tray. And then I put them in the small freezer bags, and then put a whole bunch of small ones in the big one. That way I can take them out a few. They're not stuck together. Works with strawberries, works with the blueberries, works with a lot of little things out of your garden.
Other than my currants, I have no bounty for my garden left over, so it's fine though. Let's take a break right now. It's 9:49, and when we come back, we'll talk more about some February calendar things that we can be doing. You're listening to The Root of It right here on KLYC 1260 AM.
practice. In the NBA tonight, the Hawks will go for 19 in a row as they host the Sixers, while the Cavs will try to make it 10 straight in Kevin Love's return to Minnesota. The college basketball Cavaliers from number 2 Virginia get to host number 4 Duke. And on the ice, coming up at 1 p.m. Eastern, the Caps will skate at Montreal. I'm Jeff Biggs, NBC Sports Radio.
With the season in full swing, the NBA is teaming up with JBL, the official sound of the NBA, to amplify your audio experience at the game, on the court, and at home. With fast breaks, buzzer beaters, slam dunks, and the roar of the crowd, JBL brings the exciting sounds of the game to a new level through superior sound quality in products like headphones, portable speakers, and home audio. Check us out at your local retailer or shop online at JBL.com. JBL, the official sound of the NBA. Hear the truth.
Looking for a reliable used vehicle for your teenager? All Honda certified pre-owned vehicles undergo a thorough multi-point inspection by a Honda-trained technician to meet Honda certified standards. And the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety named 4 Honda certified eligible models as among the best used car choices for teens under $20,000. We think that's pretty reliable. Find the right vehicle for you at HondaCertified.com and search for local inventory. Start something special with Honda certified pre-owned vehicles.
Full Service Radio, keeping you updated with sports information, news, and the best music around. The Cruise, AM 1260 KLYC. GNC Guns, your one-stop gun shop dealer for everything from tactical equipment to personal protection firearms, including handguns, long guns, ammunition, optics, reloading supplies, shooting accessories, and targets. And now, Valley Archery has moved into the store to make it your one-stop shop for guns and archery. GNC Guns is an authorized Glock and Springfield dealer. No one can beat their Glock and Springfield armory prices. Expert advice from a local dealer here tomorrow to back up the deal they make today for guns and archery. GNC Guns and Valley Archery, 511 Northeast 2nd Street, McMinnville. If you haven't tried Banner's Restaurant in McMinnville yet, make it a point to stop by the next chance you get. Check out their daily specials. At Banner's Restaurant, you can enjoy everything from burgers to pasta to seafood to steak. Banner's Restaurant can handle special parties up to 50 people in the restaurant if you're having a special event. They also cater to special dietary needs. And mention you heard this ad on KLYC and get 10% off your meal. Banner's Restaurant, McMinnville, near the Dollar Tree in McMinnville. Great food, great service from people who want to make your visit enjoyable. And don't forget, ask for 10% off with the KLYC radio special at Banner's Restaurant, McMinnville. In business and taking care of your needs since 1983, it's D&D Electrical. Big company support, small town service. They are your full-service contractor, residential, commercial, and industrial, including low voltage and security. It's D&D Electrical. When asked, their answer is usually, yes, we can do that. From solar to security systems to industrial control, D&D Electrical can handle the job. 503-472-4003. Ready to go to work for you right now. D&D Electrical, McMinnville.
And we are back. You are tuned right here to The Root of It, your weekly gardening show here on KLYC 1260 AM. Also, Facebook.com is where we are streaming the video. YouTube.com to catch the repeat. Just search KLYC. To The Root of It. Sharon, hi.
Good
morning.
Again. Good morning again.
That's right. We've got 5 minutes left in the show and so much to talk about for February. Maybe we'll break it up into next week. You going to be here next week?
Yes.
I don't know if that was so much a question as a statement.
Oh, I will be here next week. Absolutely. Of course.
You will be here with Ruth next week.
That's right. That's right. I'm a little behind the curve on my communications right now with my computer at home being down, but that'll be fixed soon. But yes, I did get an email on my tablet from Ruth, and she and I will be teaming up for that.
Yes, and I'll be listening from a swim meet somewhere in Oregon. I don't know.
Good for you.
Yeah, it is good for me.
Yeah, it's nice to get some time to be able to do family things on the weekend, and you put so much time into this, and it is so greatly appreciated by everybody. But bless your heart. We need to talk about two things, I think. One of them, yes,
very well.
One of them is our numbers. We're going to make an effort to get our numbers out there where people want to call in with their questions. We can make it easier for them to do that. And the other one is Recology, our good friends there. My husband was just asking me what kind of compost ground cover and stuff that I was going to want for my garden this year, so he could take our little old blue pickup and haul out there and go get it for us.
No, what I'm fantasizing about Recology, is their service where they bring in a truck of bark dust and they blow it out wherever you want. And
if you've got acreage, if they did that, they'd cover my house.
For the backyard, even for the backyard, they'll go ahead. You get a yard or 7 yards or something, and 7 yards. That's a lot. 7 yards is a lot.
Yes, it is.
But something like that, and just to not have to get it from the truck to the wheelbarrow to the place, just to and to have them come out. I would like a line 3 feet by 6 feet, and then it's all gone.
And nice sound effects.
I couldn't get it loud enough. Actually, this is a pretty dulling mic. So, but anyway, very loud, but good service that I would be looking for, and then also getting the compost down on some of those because
they'll do it with the compost, ground covers. They have so many wonderful services for everybody. It's just amazing. You really need to check into them.
Yep. So other things that we can be doing in the garden, because putting down the bark dust and putting down the compost, but also plan for that herb bed that everybody wants, so that you can have your parsley, chives, sage, and lavender. Lavender, my gosh, that stuff takes off really fast. I'm looking at all of these things, and for your these are things that you could be starting right now in the windowsill of your kitchen. Even.
One of the things along that line, because you're talking about the parsleys and so on and so forth like that we're using in our kitchens is cilantro. And my daughter was asking me, she says, how come I can't keep my cilantro? Every time I have it, it goes a little while and it bolts on me. And I told her, I says, you need to replant it about once every 3 weeks. So do small containers and do them at like about 3 week intervals, because that's the nature of the plant. And so if folks are doing that one, that's something that they can remember.
That's something that people grow indoors? Is that what they do?
Sure, you can have it on your... I have, again, it's a matter of exposure, how your house is set up, what your direction is, and everything. And again, I have this huge kitchen window that comes right down to the surface of my counter, and it has a southwest exposure. So I have got a perfect spot to be able to put some of those things.
Right. So you would need to make sure that you're choosing the sunny spot for that. But you can also plan on adding those herbaceous perennial flowers to your landscape. These are like the candy tufts, the peonies, the penstemons, always fun to say, and the cone flowers.
It is. My penstemons are just really coming back really good right now, and I'm going to have to protect them from hard freeze coming up.
Artichokes. When we talk about protection, I have 2 of them planted out there. And Ray came over and visited my garden. We went ahead and we put a tomato cage right over it, and he said, just go ahead and throw a cloth over that artichokes and they'll be fine, protect them from the frost. I'm like, oh yeah, that's an awesome idea. And so I've got the cages over them.
Good.
And I've got one dead one because no cloth ever really actually made it over them. So one of them is kind of turning into mush, which has been my artichoke experience. The other one is probably about 2 feet tall right now and doing almost fairly well. I should protect it.
You should definitely protect that one because it's going to be very susceptible if we get more freezes. It was very frosty on the ground when I got up this morning.
Right, exactly.
And even though we had a beautiful day yesterday, it started out in the morning, there was white, shiny stuff all over my grass when I got up.
Yeah.
So that's what the plants are dealing with overnight. And if you're not an early riser, you don't realize that because maybe it's more sunny by the time you get up.
It doesn't get warm here. Like you, and we talk about this. You can say that the high is going to be 56, and it's like, wow, that's great. But it's not going to be 56 until 4:30.
That's right.
And until 4:30, it's going to be 48, which is
And then it's only that way for a short time, and it
You
goes
got
right
2
back.
minutes
So
of
it's going down.
56,
Yeah,
and
it
it's done.
peaks for just a very short time and downhill again. So yeah, protect those plants, whether it's newspaper or whether it's a piece of cloth you have, or if you happen to get some frost cloth, they have it at the garden centers.
I'm picturing plants sitting on park benches with newspaper wrapped around them, i.e. the way that they used to have the homeless person sitting on the bench protected from the... So
that was
you're
exactly
saying you
what
use
through my
newspaper?
mind.
You're saying you use the newspaper,
Yes.
anything that you put right down there, yes.
Yep.
Well, it's 10 o'clock.
Oh no!
I
The time
know.
flies, doesn't
It's
it? Fly
sure
by.
it goes by fast. The last 15 minutes, I agree. But nevertheless, if you want to watch this again, Sharon, just go to YouTube, search KLYC to the root of it, and there we are.
Yep.
Let me give everybody the phone number for next week, and that is 503-435-1260. And phone lines will be available for you ladies that are coming in next week to
Absolutely.
take that. And as always, you can check out the extension website, extension.oregonstate.edu. Anything else that we need to say out there, Sharon?
Just thank you again, Recology, for sponsoring it, making it possible for us to be here and share the information with the public that we do.
That's right. And as always, we'll be back next week. You've been listening to The Root of It right here on KLYC. And keep your tools sharp.
Yeah, and Ray, have a good time.